Welcome. Today we read the Ἐγχειρίδιον by Epictetus. How was this book written? Text. Not sure. Oh, stands for Ἐγχειρίδιον stands for the manual. This is the introduction. We're going to skip the introduction, except for this. For Epictetus, the son of a slave woman born in between 50 and 60 AD. And wow, what a word. He wrote all these figures. He was a slave to one of Nero's distinguished freedmen who served as the emperor's secretary. Oh, okay. Rufus was a Stoic philosopher. Okay, so Epictetus is a Stoic. Let's get down to the original writings of Epictetus. There are things which are within our power. There are things which are beyond our power. Within our power are our opinion, aim, desire, aversion, and in one word, whatever affairs are our own. Beyond our power are body, property, reputation, office, and in one word, whatever are not properly our own affairs. Now the things within our power are by nature free, unrestrained, unhindered, but those beyond our power are weak, dependent, restricted, alien. Remember then that if you attribute freedom to things by nature dependent and take what belongs to others for your own, you will be hindered, you will lament, you will be disturbed, you will find fault both with gods and men. Does he really believe in Apollo? I don't know. But if you take for your own only that which is your own, and he's repeating himself, let's move on. Remember that the desire demands the attainment of that of which you are desirous, and aversion demands the avoidance of that which you are averse, that he who fails the object of his desires is disappointed, and he who incurs the object of his aversion is wretched. If then you shun only those undesirable things which you can control, you will never incur anything which you shun. But if you shun sickness or death or poverty, you will run the risk of wretchedness. Remove aversion then from all things. Okay, let's move on. Men are disturbed not by things, but by the views which they take of things. Thus death is nothing terrible, else it would have appeared so to Socrates. But the terror consists in our own notion of death, that it is terrible. When therefore we are hindered or disturbed or grieved, let us never impute it to others, but to ourselves. Selfishness, demand not that events should happen as you wish, but wish them to happen as they do, and you will go on well. Sickness is an impediment to the body, but not to the will unless itself pleases. Lameness is an impediment to the leg, but not to the will. And say this to yourself with regard to everything that happens. Okay, let's move ahead for If you wish your children and your wife and your friends to live forever, you are foolish, for you wish things to be in your power which are not so, and what belongs to others to be your own. So likewise, if you wish your servant to be without fault, you are foolish, for you wish vice not to be vice but something else. But if you wish not to be disappointed in your desires, that is in your own power, exercise therefore what is in your power. A man's master is he who is able to confer or remove whatever that man seeks to shun. Whoever then would be free, let him wish nothing, let him decline nothing which depends on others, else he must necessarily be a slave. Okay, so he's a Stoic philosopher, Epictetus is. So, in other words, don't worry about things you cannot control. When a raven happens to croak unluckily, be not overcome by appearances, but discriminate and say, nothing is portended to me, either to my paltry body or property, or reputation or children or wife. But to me all portents are lucky if I will, for whatsoever happens, it belongs to me to derive advantage therefrom. Okay, so apparently croaking ravens are portentous. Okay, moving on. Remember that it is not he who gives abuse or blows, who affronts, but the view we take of these things as insulting. When therefore anyone provokes you, be assured that it is your own opinion which provokes you. Try therefore, in the first place, not to be bewildered by appearances, for if you once gain time and respite, you will more easily command yourself. Let death and exile, and all other things which appear terrible, be daily before your eyes, but death chiefly, and you will never entertain an abject thought, nor too eagerly covet anything. If you have an earnest desire toward philosophy, prepare yourself from the very first to have the multitude laugh and sneer and say, he is returned to us a philosopher all that once, and whence this supercilious look? Now, for your part, do not have a supercilious look indeed, but keep steadily to those things which appear best to you, as one appointed by God to this particular station. For remember that, if you are persistent, those very persons who at first ridiculed will afterwards admire you. But if you are conquered by them, you will incur a double ridicule. If you ever happen to turn your attention to externals for the pleasure of anyone, be assured that you have ruined your scheme of life. Be content, then, in everything, with being a philosopher, and if you wish to seem so likewise to anyone, appear so to yourself, and it will suffice you. Not sure if I want to read that whole paragraph. I do 10-minute videos. Okay, here are two short passages. As a mark is not set up for the sake of missing the aim, so neither does the nature of evil exist in the world. What does that tell me? As a mark is not so much set up for the sake of missing the aim, marking a target, so neither does the nature of evil exist in the world. That's strange. If a person had delivered up your body to some passerby, you would certainly be angry. But do you feel no shame in delivering up your own mind to any reveler? To be disconcerted and confounded? Wait a minute. And do you feel no shame in delivering up your own mind to any reviler? To be disconcerted and confounded? Thought-provoking, not exactly sure what he means. Okay, one more. In every affair, consider what precedes and what follows, and then undertake it. Otherwise you will begin with spirit, indeed careless of the consequences, and these are developed. You will shamefully desist. That's the 29th. Okay. Thank you for listening.